I just make a distinction between dressing smart and dressing sloppy. These small stories actually start forming a culture of a place. Getting the culture right is the most important thing. Our job doesn't end by hiring you, it starts. I don't want your loyalty. You should demand loyalty from me.
No wonder you got India's most trusted CEO award. Nobody was surprised with that. One of the iconic brand which you had under this media was Filmfare.
Filmfare, the magazine, is my product. I can do what I want to do with it.
True.
Who to put on the cover.
So if you have to choose one thing, fame or money?
I'll never choose money. I had access to the chairman of Hero Group and Hero Cycle.
Right. So what's the future of this industry?
Very interesting question. And value is critical. And I think
Hi friends, in the world of advertising, media and communication, very few leaders have shaped the landscape the way my guest today has. Mr. Tarun Rai has led various companies, transformed the biggest companies, build the brands and work across creative and non-creative teams in different continents. Once recognized as India's most trusted CEO, I'm keen to look at his journey and understand from him more. So Tarun, welcome to the show.
Very happy to be here, Sachin.
I'll go back to my memory lane. So the first time I met you was in, I think, a decade back, 2015, in JWT office. You were just joining as CEO and there was a big welcome plan for you. And Mr. late Ranjan Kapoor was kind enough to take me along that journey to welcome you. And the first thing I noticed is your corporate style of dressing. It was way different than laid back advertising style, really sharp one. Is it planned one or is it something you carry naturally?
Oh, well, I have very fond memories of that particular day. And I really think it was such a nice welcome because, as you know, for me, it was a homecoming.
Right.
And after being away from advertising in media, to come back after not a short stint, coming back after 7 years, and to come back to your alma mater as the group CEO, it was really a special moment. And to receive such a warm welcome from everyone, and you mentioned Ranjan, and he is such a lovely person, a really lovely guy. And it was really a special moment. As far as dressing is concerned, it is personal. And I don't dictate anyone any kind of style. We are a creative business and people can dress the way they want to. But to me, I just make a distinction between dressing smart and dressing sloppy.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, casual can also be very smart. For me personally, I just feel that while clothes don't make a huge difference, I just feel that clothes communicate. And they communicate to the people that you are dealing with, and they communicate even to yourself.
Right.
Dressing up sharp, I mean, you can be formal or casual, as I said. Dressing up sharp is just a way of getting ready for work.
Right.
And especially in the client servicing business, where you are interacting with other clients, it just connotes a kind of alertness. And sometimes for some people, certainly for me, an eye for detail.
Right.
But as I said, I have never dictated to anyone how they should, what they should wear and how they should be turned out, except once, where a young guy, and I was actually, if you remember, very friendly with all the young people. We used to play pool together, and he thought that I was very fond of him, which I was. I once sent him back home, and he was a client servicing guy.
Right.
I sent him back home from the lobby because I was going somewhere, and he was just entering, and he is walking into office wearing slippers.
Right.
And I told him, I said, I don't really dictate. There is no dress code, but this doesn't work.
Correct.
And I still remember, he said, "Oh, sorry, Tarun, never again."
Yeah.
and tomorrow I'll wear proper shoes. I said, no, not tomorrow.
Starting today.
Starting today. I said, go back. He thought I was joking, but that is the only time that. But on the other hand, I was also coming back to JWT after 7 years in a media job as the CEO of Worldwide Media. And amongst our many magazines were also fashion magazines.
Right.
So there you have to dress the part in any case. So if you are representing a group of lifestyle publications, the least you can do is to be smartly turned out, because we had so many events. And so that was, I'm glad you reminded me of that. But as I said, everyone has their personal style. For me, it is only a question of not casual or formal, but sloppy and sharp. And different people. One very good friend of mine, he was a film producer. He had his own take on dressing up for work.
Okay.
And his take was whenever he was at work, he was always in blue jeans and light blue shirt.
Okay.
And I once asked him.
It's almost like a uniform.
Yeah, exactly. And he said, for me, it's like uniform. You don't have to worry in the mornings what to wear. You don't have to worry as to what matches with what. Or so he had some 10 pairs of jeans and some 10 shirts, all light blue color. So for him, it was a uniform. But again, it is to a large extent, it is telling yourself that, okay, now the day starts and it's a working day. So it's all about alertness, what you communicate to others and to yourself.
So that makes so much sense. And you were right, there was an impact. Since you joined that office, I could see people dressing up well, taking care of it unintentionally at times as well. And regarding youth, I have seen that you were so close to the youth and young minds. I remember one incident where I think there was a cricket final going on, I think World Cup, and you asked team to put up a screen in the conference room, and all of us joined there.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, this is the CEO, and he's showing so much passion. And also I remember that the glass door incident, I want viewers to know about it. That's probably one of the first actions you took. So can you elaborate that?
Yeah, as I said, when you mentioned the title of your podcast, Behind the Glass Door, which is a lovely title, by the way.
Thank you.
It reminded me of my own glass door. When I came back to JWT as the CEO, my job was not as the head of Mumbai office, where you and I had met for the first time. And when we had moved from our old offices to the new offices, I was the person who was in charge of doing all the interiors with the architecture, deciding how the office is going to be. And I really wanted an open office. But there were a lot of seniors in our company who were not comfortable with a completely open office. So I struck a bargain with them. I said, if you want, you have your own closed offices. You cannot have a frosted glass.
Correct.
It has to be open. And I discussed with the interior person, and we discussed that standing at one end of the hallway, you should be able to look all through, because it was a pillar office. And we said, in the architect's word, he said, yes, the ceiling doesn't stop visually and the carpet doesn't stop. So that was the bargain I had struck. And everyone had the cabins were closed doors.
Correct.
They had glass fronted offices. And because of that, they also could not do whatever they wanted to in their rooms. They couldn't personalize their room so much because everyone is watching. When I came back, the first thing I noticed was that the office of the group CEO, which was me, which was on a floor above, it was frosted. And I said, hang on, this is absolutely wrong. Why should we have this? I have nothing to hide. And please have this frosted film removed. And it's just as simple as that. But a couple of days later, our head of creative comes up to meet me, and she says, oh, so this is what everyone is talking about. And I said, sorry, what are they talking about? They said, the first thing you did was to remove the frosting from the door. And the signal it seems to have sent to everyone, and since you're talking about, signals, and I do believe in stories and culture, the signal that went out was not just a physical removing of the film from the glass door, but a kind of a metaphoric expression of transparency.
Right.
That, from now on, the indication seems to be that we are all kind of involved.
Right.
And so therefore, even on the Bombay office floor, which is a floor above, below, everyone asked to remove the,
remove the
the frosting from the glass. So, but you are right. I firmly believe sometimes what you do has got unintended consequences. These small stories actually start forming a culture of a place.
Correct.
And one of the things I've always believed in is how much does a leader impact a business and how long does it take is one thing.
Right.
But culture definitely flows right from the top.
Correct. True.
Because, and for me, getting the culture right is the most important thing any head of an organization can do. And that culture can change in minutes. It can change by removing a glass film.
True.
Or it can change by saying something. And I'll give you an incident since we are talking about my coming back to JWT. I went around doing some town halls.
Right. Yeah.
And I remember in New Delhi, which was one of our very big offices, we had a town hall, and we were talking about high attrition levels as to why is it that 40% of our people every year there is a churn off. And I said, so difficult in a business that we are in, just replacing people takes away so much time.
So
it was part of my topic. And I just mentioned in passing, I said, if the attrition is so high, it is not your fault. It is the organization's fault because we are obviously either not paying you well enough or not giving you enough opportunities or the work is not exciting enough. So it is not your problem because so far I had heard from everyone that, young people are very fickle, their attitude is not right. And I said, I don't believe it because if we have hired you, it is our job. Our job doesn't end by hiring you, it starts.
True.
And if you are leaving, it's our problem, not yours. And I just mentioned while talking, I said, I've heard this thing about loyalty. I don't want your loyalty. You should demand loyalty from me. You should demand loyalty from the organization. We should be the organization, and your boss should be loyal to you. You should be only loyal to your careers. And if we cannot show you the kind of career growth, and if we cannot create an environment where you are happy to come every day, it's our problem. So this thing of, whose loyalty, I just mentioned. And I think a couple of days later, my head of HR, who I'm still in touch with, she said, Tarun, what happened in New Delhi? I said, no, I just had a town hall, nothing happened, met some clients. She said, no, I have got some 20 emails about something that you said about loyalty. So that suddenly people were writing into our HR head that this is the freshest and the best thing that they've heard in a long time, that we don't have to be loyal to you, you have to be loyal to us. So I said, okay, man, pressure on HR. but so to me, that kind of sets the culture, and it gets communicated very quickly. And I think whether it's like you said, dressing in a particular way without telling anyone what to do, or saying even things like whose loyalty, which I genuinely believe in. I mean, the reason I left JWT and went to media was also a combination of the opportunity I got outside of JWT and the fact that I thought that for me, my next career move will take longer now. So I left. Was I being disloyal to JWT? I don't think so. I had served JWT for 20 years.
And with a remarkable growth, right?
Yes,
that was the growth time.
It was a great time. But I'm saying 7 years later, when I came back on a much more expanded role,
Right.
well, the organization was loyal to me.
Correct.
And it wasn't that, oh, you left us and, we'll never have you back. They got me
So
back.
that shows, in fact, if an organization is rehiring you, I think that's the biggest testamental of what you have done in the past, right? Because they're trusting you again. And I've seen you walking the talk, right? I mean, this is not the first time. No wonder you got India's most trusted CEO award. I think nobody was surprised with that. Your career is now 4 decades long, right? And you have seen retail industry. You started from Asian Paints. Do you want to give us like your mini CV, 5 minutes? I know it's tough to capture everything, but just for our viewers, that what you have done, what you do now.
Yeah, okay. I did start with Asian Paints, but before I give you a mini CV, I'll just tell you about one film that I saw called Sliding Doors.
Okay.
And if somebody wants to check it out, they should. But it is just about the what we call the if, and it's a story about this girl getting fired from her job and going home, and in two situations, and the film splits there.
Oh, okay, interesting.
One is she misses the train, and the other situation is she gets onto the train.
Okay, interesting.
And then the story splits into two halves and goes down two very different tracks.
Right.
Pun intended, because it's talking about train tracks. But again, so I'm saying in life, sometimes I believe it is not just about the opportunity taken, it's also about opportunities not taken. So while I started with Asian Paints, and I think it was possibly the best training ground any young management graduate could hope for. I think in the 3 years I was there, I must have learned at least 15 years worth, because I mean, a great organization, and they genuinely believed in getting their young people who are there hired straight into and pushing them into the deep end, and you learn on the job. So it was fantastic learning. But the reason that I came to JWT was not to stay, in those days HTA, not to stay in advertising, but get some experience of advertising after getting experience of sales and marketing in Asian Paints, and then move to a product management marketing role on the client side.
Okay.
But because I enjoyed myself so much in advertising, before I knew, I had already spent 10 years. And as I said earlier about the organization providing opportunities, just when I thought that I'm now a group head in the Delhi office, and I don't know when I'm going to, where I'm going to go next, because there were only 5 offices to head. And I thought I should now look around. I got the opportunity to head our Calcutta office, which was my first independent profit center. I was the youngest office head of HTA JWT those days. So I went to Calcutta, and after having a great time in Calcutta and turning the office around, I was catapulted into Bombay and heading Bombay, which was our most high-profile office.
Correct,
And so to me, again, 6 years in heading Bombay, great time. And then I got an opportunity to head up a very interesting joint venture between the BBC and the Times of India. And I always thought they make strange bedfellows, because on the one hand, it's a very conservative BBC, and almost like run like a halfway to a public sector. And on the other, you had 2 very sharp Indian entrepreneurial brothers. So I wondered how it would be, but it turned out to be a fantastic experience of 7 years. And again, as I said, I learned a lot. And then coming back, which was something I had left advertising for good. I was in media. But that's what I'm saying. So it just keeps giving you chances and the opportunities if they come your way. And in between, there are many opportunities that I said no to. And as I said, in terms of sliding doors, if I had taken up those opportunities, who knows what would have happened. But no regrets. So then I came back, and I think it was really fantastic to come back to a company that you had joined as an account executive
Right.
and to come back as a group CEO. I mean, that really is, as I said earlier, very special.
Right.
And it comes with its own issues, and which we can discuss a bit later.
Right.
But issues that if you are conscious of are they can be handled very easily.
Right.
But it is so. To me, I have a lot of my friends. They say, in the corporate world, you change many jobs, and many of my friends changed many jobs, but I didn't do. And the only agency that I have worked with is JWT.
JWT, yeah.
And I used to joke that I stayed true to the company. The company kept changing its name from HTA to JWT to Wunderman Thompson, now VML.
Yeah.
So it's so that's pretty much it is how it has been.
Yeah.
And as I said, to me, it is great. When I went to media, I knew nothing. I knew nothing about, because I had spent all my years in advertising. I knew nothing about how the publishing industry works. To me, I see that as an advantage. And as my COO at that time told me after I had taken them for a 2-day workshop,
Right.
and she said, "Tarun, you are so lucky." I said, "Why?" She said, "For you say why not for everything that we say why to.
Correct.
And the reason of why not is because I have no baggage."
Correct. Fresh perspective.
Yeah, I have a fresh perspective. It's an outside in view.
Right.
So you say, why can't we do this? And nobody has in the organization has said why not and why can't we do this, because somebody 3 years later or 4 years later had tried it and it didn't work. So that baggage kept accumulating. But the environment has changed. What worked 4 years ago may not
Might not
necessarily work today. So I had many instances of, and when you are new to an industry, even though you are a CEO, you can ask all the stupid questions because you're allowed to. So to me, people talk about the 100-day plan and how the 100 days are very important. I think 100 days are also very important to ask all the foolish questions.
Correct.
Because after 100 years, you won't be allowed to ask those foolish questions.
True.
So to me, while I moved industries, I think certain basics of leadership stay the same.
Right.
And
such as, like, if you have to give
so I'm saying, to me, I truly believe that if I have achieved anything, a large part of it is because I think I have developed and honed my leadership skills.
Right.
Because without a team, you are nobody.
Right.
So, this exalted thing of one single leader right at the top,
changing everything.
to me, it doesn't work like that in reality. I don't believe in it. I'll just give you an instance. When I went to worldwide media, as I said, I knew nothing about the business.
Yeah.
So what do? I take my senior team, which I don't call the executive committee. I call it the leadership team because I hate the word committee. Because I'm not leading the company. All the function heads, all the editors, because we were in a publishing business, all the sales head, the HR head, and the finance head, we make a leadership team, and I took them to an offsite for 2 days. And I said, share what you're doing with your magazine. The finance person shares the economics of the business, profitability. The HR person talks about the talent issues. And at the end of 2 days, two things happened. One, I knew everything about the business.
True.
Right? They're the people who run the business. I am the new person. My job was only to ask the right questions, including the stupid ones, because I can. But at the end of 2 days, I am enlightened about what this business is all about.
Right.
And I'm enlightened by the people who actually do the job. They run the business. The second thing that happens is, and which is what I figured very quickly in worldwide media, and also when I came back to JWT, is that this also allowed people to get to know what the others in the organization and the leadership team were doing.
Correct. Yeah.
A lot
of curse of silos is so common.
Exactly. And to me, I was surprised. I said, hey, hang on. I mean, why is this a surprise for you? You have been there for 3 years.
Yeah.
And the finance person had no idea of the exigencies that the editor has to face in putting together a very good magazine. And the editor had no idea that the profitability of the magazine was so small. And that is the reason why more money was not allowed for the editorial budget.
Correct.
And similarly with HR, why can't we get better people? Or, it takes time, etc. But here, everyone is talking to each other, presenting. And the other thing I used to always insist was, and again, it's something about culture and leadership. And I used to insist that if you have to miss a session, if there is a emergency, and you have to miss a session of the conference in the morning or the workshop, fine, we will make an exception. But nobody misses the evening drinks at the bar and the dinner. Because to me, that I again learned very quickly that the informal networks are sometimes even more important than the formal networks.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
During the evenings, you get to chat, you become friendly. And then you realize that, being in the same organization, as you mentioned, you can actually be in silos. So to me, just having a leadership team, I believe calling it a leadership team, which is not just this, it's multifunctional, and everyone is running their own businesses, but here they have come together. If you can get their buy-in, if you can get their alignment, and at the end of the 2 days, I used to say, if we all agree that this is what needs to be done, well, it should be done. And there is no finance person holding you back because the budgets, the finance person says, yeah, I think we can do it. The talent head, the HR head says, okay, I think I can get you the kind of staffing you want. The sales guy said, okay, I can get you these sponsorship deals. Well, then it's done. So it's
and I'm sure the escalations coming to you also must have reduced because they talk to each other.
I mean, you're so right, and I'm glad you mentioned it because this is exactly the point. I always believed that, there should be integration. And even when I came back to JWT, we did the similar thing. And I noticed that in the first few emails that people were exchanging, they were marking CCs to me. After 5 such emails with CCs, and those CCs I figured was to tell the CEO that you wanted us to talk to each other. We are. See, we are. After that, the CCs disappeared. And I actually asked them, I said, what happened? Are you not talking? They said, no, we just thought that now we have established an equation. We don't need to bother you and to tell you that we are talking. So then it became, so you're right. It became, it's not that we are doing it because you want us to do it. We are talking to each other. We have broken the silos because we both believe it's to our benefit. And it's not as if that, we are either giving up revenue or we are doing something that is going to be contrarian to my interest. So you're right. So to me, just having that leadership team actually served me so well. And I've always believed that, as I said, there's no one person who does everything. I've been a sports person all my life. And I always believe that while individual stars are important and individuals are important, it's great teams that win. And I have given many examples of, I'm into football, I've given many examples of football where you can have the best stars, but you pluck them up and put them in another team, and they can't perform because the team dynamics are very different. So yes, to me, it's very important. And as I said, the transition from sales and marketing in Asian Paints to JWT and HTA, then going to media, then coming back. The industries may change, but certain basic things about your personal way of working, your leadership style allows you, and sometimes it benefits you if you are you're more objective and you're coming from the outside. So those things don't change. And this outside-in view helped me even when I came back to JWT after 7 years, because 7 years is enough of a time.
It's a big time.
To remove the tunnel vision that you develop after working in a company for 10 years. So I even viewed the same organization very differently because I had a gap of 7 years.
Right. No, makes so much sense. I mean, there is so much to unpack there. But I have one question, so a bit of sidetrack, right? One of the iconic brand which you had under this media was Filmfare. And we all grew up watching Filmfare shows, right?
Yes.
Not the magazine itself because it used to be expensive, but we grew up there. So if you have to choose one thing, fame or money, which one you will choose? Any other insight from those days on the fame quotient?
Okay, I'll never choose money
Right.
as something to decide on a career option.
Okay.
So, and I've never done it.
Okay.
To me,
Explain that more because a lot of young audience is watching this.
okay, so I've always told people who sometimes, young people who come to me and say, I've got another offer, I always try to suss out from them
Right.
as to the reason they want to leave. If they want to leave because of more money, I try to dissuade them.
Right.
If they are leaving because they are not happy in what they are doing in the current organization, which is my organization, I try to speak to them and offer them something that will make their jobs more interesting.
Yeah.
If they are leaving because of career prospects and career growth prospects, I can offer them and say, maybe we should have been more transparent to tell you as to where you're headed. But if it is for money that they're leaving, I try to dissuade them because I always tell young people that you are not making a decision about the next job. You're making a decision about your career. So be clear where you want your career to go, because this job that you are discussing and thinking and going to go for, is it the right step in your long-term career or is it not? Because, it is a step and you take a wrong step here, your career path can change.
Like the sliding door story.
Like the sliding door
never know
story.
you will-
So don't do it for money because, money is not what you are going to make in your next job for the next 2 years. Money is what you will make through your career in the 40 years like I have spent. So I'm saying, therefore, I have never done anything because of money. Fame is a very kind of nebulous concept. To me, the guiding principle for myself also is similar. What is it going to do for my career? And the second thing is, am I going to enjoy what I'm going to do?
Right.
And between these two things, I take a call on my career, and maybe that's the reason that I have not had too many companies and too many different companies that I've worked for.
Right.
It's only been Asian Paints, JWT, Worldwide Media, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, which is because to me, if I'm getting the opportunities in the organization, if I'm enjoying what I'm doing, well, some kind of fame will come. And I think during my phase in Worldwide Media, there were enough opportunities for that.
Yeah.
But I think the key thing is your career paths, your career growth, and most importantly, are you going to enjoy what you're doing?
Excellent. I mean, really insightful. I love what you told about money. I mean, I read somewhere, I think it was from Jim Rohn or Naval Ravikant. He said, don't decide on what you are getting, decide on what you are becoming.
Absolutely.
In any role. Like, what's the future? So makes so much sense.
Yeah.
For some reason, though, you keep coming back to advertising. And although it's a one company, so JWT. So what fascinates you about this industry?
As I said, I had no plans to be in advertising for so long.
Yeah.
Right? But I must say, one of the things about culture is that culture also, the organization culture, flows down to an employee through their immediate boss. Right? So you can have mission statements and vision statements and paragraphs and whatever, but ultimately culture is culture in practice.
Yeah.
And culture in practice, while it starts from the top, so the CEO, the company CEO starts the culture and sets the culture, the place. But as it trickles down, you never know where it gets lost in translation, right? So it's very important who your boss is. And I've been very lucky that I had some fantastic bosses. I hate that term, but I had fantastic bosses who invested in their time in me.
Right.
And I don't want to name them, but they know who they are.
Right.
And
True.
and they're part of the reason that I loved advertising is because they made me understand what this business was.
Right.
And but yes, I've been always fascinated. And as I said, after sales and marketing, I thought I'll spend 3 years in advertising and move on to a marketing role and product manager's role. But then I realized that what we do as one element of the marketing mix is so important. And hopefully we will discuss it when we talk about our industry. I mean, it is almost magical how what we do as an industry can turn a dark colored, sweet, fizzy liquid in a bottle into a brand called Pepsi.
Correct.
And you can launch it as the choice of a new generation.
Right.
And it becomes a youth soulmate.
Yeah.
And we launched Pepsi.
And that was
in
one
India.
of the campaign
It
under
is one
your
of the
leadership,
campaigns.
right?
And I'm saying, where does this transformation happen? And I recently had made a post about, what is it that advertising does in the context of where our industry is today. And I even referenced KitKat, which, JWT in our London office, we're
Correct.
sitting
And
in
I
the
think
UK.
it's 50-year-old campaign.
It's a 50-year-old campaign.
Yeah.
And what is KitKat? It is as a product,
Yeah.
it is a wafer wrapped in a chocolate coating.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
True.
I mean, and the advertising, and I take complete credit for it. I had nothing to do with the campaign. It was done in our London office. But we should definitely take full credit for it
Right.
to convert a chocolate wrapped wafer into something called Have a Break, Have a Kit Kat,
True.
which has got so much more meaning than the product. And to me, that was totally fascinating. And I think the reason that I came back to advertising was that what we do is something not many people can do.
Right.
And products, even technology products today, are very easily duplicated.
Right.
But brands which have a lot of emotion in it, and as we said, there are tangible assets and there are the intangible assets, and the intangible assets are what we create.
Right.
And suddenly the brand gets an aura and gets an emotional connection with consumers that decides which product, which is really a commodity product, is going to do better than the other. So I really loved it. And sometimes my son says, because he was a student and he still is a student, working hard and this and that. I said, I don't even know where work starts and where work finishes, because every day and I still remember one of my presentations at a workshop called Entrevu, which was for all the new joinees.
Okay.
2 slides there, and since you're talking about it and the reason why I find our business so interesting, on the first slide, I had names of all the various people that I had interacted with. They didn't know before I told them. And that had models, that had photographers, that had directors, musicians, film actors.
Right.
And I'd put all the names down. And I said, in the past 5 years that I have been in advertising, I know all these people and I've interacted with all of them. And these were the biggest names in the industry, including Bollywood, like you said, Filmfare.
Yeah.
The next slide had the names of places in India as well as abroad, including Monte Carlo and Nice.
Right.
And I was still less than 5 years old in the company, and there were some 20 or 30 names on that slide.
Yeah.
And I said, these are the places that I have seen thanks to JWT and all the shoots that I had gone for in the last 4 years. And the third slide said, and you know what? The company pays me for this. So I'm saying every day was full of so much enjoyment, excitement, meeting such diverse people, including at the client's end.
Right.
And I think the advantage that advertising also has is that you are interacting with not just one industry. If you work in a bank, well, you're working in the bank.
Yeah.
Here, you can be working with Pepsi, but depending on the client, you could be working in a consumer durable.
Yeah.
So you're doing both. then you're working as your agency for a paints company, a completely different dynamic.
Yeah.
We even did a campaign for the Indian Army. And
Right. Okay. I was
so,
not aware of.
yeah, man, it was a fantastic campaign in New Delhi, and I was the one leading that campaign.
Okay.
And that campaign line, I still remember, was "Do you have it in you?"
Oh, I remember that ad.
So I'm saying, where do you get such variety?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to spend your next 30 years
Right.
in the banking world, which is, just one world.
True.
Here,
True.
your one day can be interacting with people who are selling Nokia phones or Philips lighting and Philips, mixer grinders. And in the afternoon, you are sitting with your guys at Pizza Hut
Right.
and discussing how to sell and which toppings to put on the pizza.
Right.
We incidentally launched Pizza Hut in India,
Right.
and Ajay Banga,
Right.
who's now the president of the World Bank,
Yeah.
he was the marketing director,
Okay. Interesting.
and we launched the not possibly, it was the first vegetarian Pizza Hut in Ahmedabad.
I'm sure.
Those days. So I'm saying, where do you get such variety?
True.
So for me, the reason that I came back and the reason that I spent 3 decades out of my 4 decades in advertising was because every day was a fantastic, exciting, different, and enjoyable day.
Yeah. I mean, you make it sound easy, and it goes to show how genuinely you are in this world, right? But is it also a high pressure job? Because there are so much stakes depend on it, on the campaign which you'll run, even to internally select which campaign to go for, dealing with creative people, which I'm sure is not that easy as dealing with non-creative people. So is it also somewhere high pressure job?
Oh, dealing with creative people is very easy. I never found that to be a problem. But yes, as you become more senior in the organization, you do less of the fun stuff and you do more of the boring stuff.
Right.
But somebody has to do the boring stuff.
Right.
And that is where pressures, of course, do come in because it is not just, campaigns. I mean, that we have been doing for a long time, and there are always ways to, and I can tell you many stories about, we are selling ideas, and it's very difficult to sell ideas because, you're selling a script. It's not as if that you're going to make a film and say, okay, do you like it or not? You can't do that.
And you have to visualize.
You have to visualize, and you have to get the client. So it's almost like kind of theater to express. So that's an entirely different thing. But to my mind, it is the pressures of revenue, the pressures, because ultimately it's while we are saying we are a creative industry, but it's a creative servicing industry.
True.
Your livelihood depends on somebody else, which is the client.
Correct.
You get paid for the work that you do.
Yeah.
And when you have a responsibility of 1,500 people, and you have a responsibility to deliver your results every quarter to your bosses, whether they're wherever in New York or London, wherever they are, there is pressure. So I'm just saying, you can't take that away. But that pressure is there in any organization.
True.
Because this is not your own company. Even your own company, you have pressures. There is a pressure to deliver. But the more senior you become, more of that pressure comes onto you.
True.
So the enjoyment or day-to-day reduces a bit, but the nature of the business is such that, and I'm saying, therefore, keep that away. And we can't shy away from the fact that there is pressure.
Correct.
And being in a client servicing where you are being paid for the service that you provide, there is extra pressure. And I'll give you an example of what I found the distinction between advertising and when I moved to media.
Right.
I used to say that my network remains the same, but I have moved from the message to the medium.
Right. Yeah.
Message was where I was creating the advertising, and media is the vehicle that carries the message.
Right.
But I found that the key difference between advertising and my new role as the CEO of Worldwide Media, the key difference for me, which I didn't even realize, is that now I was a media owner.
True.
I was a product owner. You talk about Filmfare. Filmfare, the magazine,
It's a product.
it's a product and it is my product. I can do what I want to do with it,
True.
who to put on the cover,
Yeah.
how thick it is supposed to be, what should be the theme.
True.
Things were in my control. Yes, it was still an advertising model. 60 to 70% of the revenues of the magazine came from advertisers.
Yeah.
So yes, the advertisers were still important, which is why my network was still the same.
Right.
But nobody could dictate what I want to do with my product because ultimately my product is bought on the newsstand by consumers.
True.
So I am answerable to the end consumer,
Yeah.
not to the client whose advertising I'm carrying.
Right.
And that changed the dynamic a lot because you are now much more in control. In advertising, you don't have that control. You have control only for the communication. You do not have the control for the eventual success of the brand. Because there are so many other, whether it's pricing, it's distribution, it's the quality
Delivery,
of the product, delivery, experience. I mean, there are many things. So to me, that was a huge distinction that now I can decide what I want to do. When we launched Lonely Planet magazine in India, it was a tearaway success.
Yeah.
While the clients are important and because we carry their advertising, but as far as the product is concerned, I could do what I want to do with it.
True.
So it is kind of, as I said, very, very interesting. And the pressures again are different. But advertising per se and media, as I said, are very close to each other.
Right.
And I never wanted to come back to advertising. Had this job not come my way and had it not been a job where I started off my career, which was JWT, I may not have taken it because I realized that media is so much bigger than advertising.
Right.
And I realized that in the first international conference that BBC sent me to, which was in San Francisco, we have been to our Cannes and stuff and all these conferences, but I had never seen a conference as big as this.
As because yeah.
And we had Arnold Schwarzenegger as the first speaker,
Right.
and we had Nancy Pelosi as the last,
Right.
and everything in between. And you suddenly realize
And
it's
it pretty much covers everything, right? From
mean, it
politics to sports to everything.
it was humongous. And then you figure that powerful newspapers and magazines are also the business and the place that I was in. So there was a Time magazine, there's business magazines, there's Forbes, there is our own lifestyle magazine, whether it's Vogue, Esquire, or Filmfare, Femina, BBC's magazines, including Lonely Planet, and it is a huge industry.
True.
And
is this the reason why suddenly there is growing interest from industrialists to get into media, be it Twitter or be it all these news channels?
yeah, man, that's why I figured very quickly how important media is and how powerful media is.
Right.
And therefore, there's the difference between the media power and the advertising power.
True.
But if we go down that route as to why industrialists are keen to buy media, that's another very different story. And but you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Whether it's in the West or it's in India, industrialists are very keen to get some kind of control in big media companies. So it just shows the power of media.
Makes sense. I mean, control the medium, control the messaging, right? So everything is under control.
That's true.
Couple of questions on commercial side. So I've been into commercial jobs, as you know, strategy, commercial roles. So a couple of questions on that, right? First one is, who used to be your right hand in advertising roles as a CEO? Is it CFO or is it your creative / sales head?
Okay, very, very interesting question. And
I know these people are listening, right? All these CFOs and creative heads you work with.
to me, there were two very key people. Two very key people. Our organization was such that we had very senior people, very competent people running their profit centers in various cities. So, of course, they are important. But the key distinction is that they are running their show in that city while I'm sitting in Bombay. And while I'm in touch with them and stuff, and they are, of course, very important, but to me, there are two key people, which is the one is, of course, my creative partner, but I'm not even including him because it's about running of the company.
Right.
It's not about what clients feel about our creative. We'll come to that. There are two key people. One, the talent head of HR.
Right. Interesting.
And the second is the CFO. And I used to tell our CFO, you know him, that with him, I can share things that sometimes I even think I may not be able to share with our head of HR.
Right.
Because between the CFO and you, even if there is some requirement from HR to get some very expensive resource,
Right.
my CFO is the one I will go to say, okay, you think we can afford this? How are we doing? And stuff. So to me, two people, the CFO and head of talent, we are a talent business.
True.
75% of my cost is talent cost.
Is talent. Yeah.
And the CFO is key because if you don't have a competent CFO and the CFO that you trust, you can't run your business.
True.
But I must say, I used to tell my CFO, you be the check for me.
Right. Yeah.
You and I can't do the same job.
Correct.
I will chase revenue.
Yeah.
You be my check. And please tell me when the time to keep running after new business, expensive pitches.
Right.
When is the time to stop? If you don't do that, then we are not going to be doing taking the right calls for business.
Correct.
So, and talent, if 75% of your business is talent, the head of HR has to be the very important right-hand person. So these two people, and again, of course, your creative head has to be key. Of course, that's our business. And sales, definitely, but they are pretty independent. That's what I believe in. And we, again, come back to this thing about leadership and the leadership teams. I always worked with the implicit trust of my people.
Right.
And to me, it is, if we have given you a responsibility, if I have given you this responsibility, well, run with it. I'm not the kind of person who's going to be looking over their shoulders to say, what happened, take me to your client, next meeting, I want to be there. My deal with my senior people who are running their offices was, I don't want to meet any of your clients, but I want your clients to have access to me. You decide when you want my intervention with the client, your decision. I am not going to insist that I want to meet your client. And I always say to people that you delegate authority, but you never delegate responsibility.
Right.
So
that's so powerful.
By telling people who are reporting to me that, I am delegating my authority to you. You take your decisions. You don't have to cross-check with me.
Right.
If you think there is a right decision, go for it. I'll back you up. But I can't tell my bosses that, the guy who reports to me, he screwed up. No, I screwed up. So the responsibility you can't delegate.
Right.
But authority you can and you should.
Yeah.
So when something that I learned very, very early on, and I think never has it let me down, is trusting people.
Right.
And later on, we can talk more about that, because to me, when I talk to young people today, including my own kids, we are working towards a world where there is a huge amount of uncertainty.
True.
And a lot of uncertainty about what we are skilling ourselves for and what skills are going to be required when we get into the job market.
Exactly.
So,
it's just like everyone is getting prepared. Nobody knows what.
Nobody knows. And I feel, and if you want, we can discuss this topic here.
Yeah, sure.
Or we can do it later. I feel that softer skills are going to become even more important.
Okay, interesting.
And because
even with all these chat GPTs and so on, where people have now tools to improve on softer skill, how do you really differentiate from authentic versus like made up soft skill? I don't know
See,
if I'm
soft
getting.
skills are not made up
Right.
because soft skills are on display and in action day in day out,
Right.
right? And it's a very interesting topic, and it again boils down to how even earlier, as I said, when I joined, when I came from Asian Paints and moved to advertising, what did I know about advertising? Nothing.
Right.
But a friend of mine and I joined on the same day. He was also from sales and marketing, and we sat in the library, which was where we were asked to sit for a while,
Yeah.
and we interacted with our so-called peers at that time. And both of us, over a drink in the evening, we said, "Well, this is easy peasy." Not because we knew anything about advertising. We picked it up as we went along. But we were not the ones who were creating those ads. That was an expertise that we had hired.
Right.
When I came to Worldwide Media, I didn't know anything about the industry, but we already had the experts. We had the editors, we had the salespeople, we had the finance guys. So, depending on the role that you're in, you don't have to really have all the skills yourself.
True.
Skills can be hired, and in the times of AI, where skills can be outsourced to an AI agent,
Yeah.
maybe domain knowledge and domain expertise is becoming a commodity. But the softer skills about teamwork, about leadership,
Right.
about getting people to work on a project, getting people to work on a project from 5 different countries. How do you do that? So, to my mind, a lot of these skills become even more important for young people. So, I actually think that for great teamwork, you need to have trust. And I actually think one of the things you and I discussed earlier about some of the things that we will be talking about today was what builds trust and what destroys trust.
True. Yeah. That was actually one of the questions.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I thought it was a very, very important question because it is so easy not to focus on this issue of trust. Teamwork is about trust.
Right.
People do team exercises and all where you're falling back, and it's all about trust.
Yeah.
But people are very, very reserved and unsure about whether to trust or not, because trusting means to giving up.
Yeah.
Giving up your authority as we had discussed. And so one of the things that I learned very early was from my father, and who was an academic, and there was a person who became very close to him and all, and after some time, it didn't turn out to be the right person. So, long story.
Right.
So I actually asked him, I said, why did you let this happen to you? I mean, were you not worried that this guy might do something which is not right? And my father told me something. He said, what can you do? You can live life 2 ways. One is to interact with people and who you meet, thinking that he's a scoundrel,
Right.
unless he proves to be, or he or she proves to be otherwise. Or you can live life and say, everyone is great till they prove to be a scoundrel.
Right.
So one is believing that intrinsically people are good. Yes, somebody might not turn out to be.
Right.
But you decide. And I thought that was such a great piece of advice. And I have never been let down, maybe besides a couple of times, but that's okay. People normally rise to the occasion. If you show them that you trust them, they won't let you down.
Right.
And
that's so powerful, because I mean, you can even see the difference between trust-based societies and non-trust-based societies and how the country is shaped up. And it's so powerful to have that trust-based mindset. So we spoke about youth, and probably last couple of questions. We understood what youth should be focusing on. What is something which today's leaders are missing? That is not there, and you see a gap.
If you ask me, I think the biggest issue, I'm not saying they're missing or not missing.
Right.
I mean, who am I to tell them that? But what is required is agility. And I have seen this happen. When I talk about change, I was invited to IIM Calcutta to give their convocation address. And one of the things I said was, there is so much talk about change today, but our generation, starting from, as we discussed, Asian Paints in the early 90s and my career since then, our generation has seen so much change.
True.
And we even saw the birth of the internet. Right? We saw color television coming to India, and we saw Motorola pagers, and we saw the Iridium satellite phone, which kind of disappeared because cellular telephony came into the country and the world. Motorola pagers disappeared. We have seen the entire gamut. We have seen earlier presentation we used to make on acetates.
True.
So when I say acetates, nobody even knows what
From that to Teams.
From that to Teams.
Video.
Yeah, man. And so to me, this is novel that we are having a physical, which is great. But yeah, things have changed so much. And even those days, even media for us, when our creative people were used to only three media vehicles, which was the newspaper, the hoarding, point of sale, and even television was new. There's suddenly a fluid medium and stuff and all. And then, of course, you have now to create stuff on mobile phones and stuff. And I mean, the media has exploded. So we have seen change. And even those days, I actually felt that we had an advantage because we had no baggage. So we were young. We were more agile because we had not stayed in this analog world for our careers. We had stayed in the analog world growing up. But when our career started, all these changes were happening when we are still very young. We were not set in our ways. We were more agile. I think agility, to my mind, is missing.
That's powerful.
And a lot of organizations, they resist change. Everyone resists change. One of my slides at my presentation in worldwide media, and even when I came back to JWT, one of the slides said there are no holy cows. Because what worked 5 years ago is not necessarily going to work today. And the other visual was of a rearview mirror, which I said you can't drive forward, especially at a very fast breakneck speed, looking at the rearview mirror. So experience, while important, cannot be your deciding factor because the world is changing so quickly and so fast. So agility is very important. And haven't you noticed that everything changes, but the organization structure? We are still clinging on to our organization structure, to the same hierarchies. We like kind of a simpler way, who reports to who and stuff. I mean, we are still, and at best what we are then trying to do is to kind of, merge a few companies together. But it is not a new organization that we are necessarily creating in response to what the environment is. So status quo is something everyone loves. Agility is something everyone should have. And agility means how quickly are you adapting to the new world, and how quickly are you able to and are willing to wreck and destroy the organization structure if required to respond to that change. And to me, when I say destroy, is to build something new, you have to change. And to me, tinkering, as I said earlier, tinkering around is not going to solve the issue. The second thing I think is very important, and again something that I have noticed and I miss in our industry, is the entrepreneurial spirit. You see all these startups. All these startups, many of them who are successful, chances are that they have had 5 failures before that. But they pivot, they keep pivoting. I'm not saying they all of them succeed, maybe 1 in 100 succeeds, but they keep pivoting. Large organizations I feel
struggle to pivot. Yeah.
they struggle to pivot. They become very bureaucratic. They become very controlling. I think you should let the entrepreneurial spirit back into the organization. Trust people more.
Correct.
And
I think somewhere along the line they forgot what made them so big,
absolutely.
and then changed the ways of working, right? And now they are working as a big organization.
Unilever, for example, was one of our biggest clients. I'm very fond of them. Great brands, great people. I used to tell the guys who were with Unilever, I still remember the phrase. I said, you should walk the corridor. Because it's such a huge organization. They are doing so much stuff that just by walking the corridor, you might get new business. Right. And that was the entrepreneurial spirit.
Right.
And which is why a different story about our remuneration and all. But I'm saying, if we can get that entrepreneurial spirit back into the organization where people are not kind of ticking boxes and saying, okay, this is what I have to do. Now you have to cut costs here or there. Just go out and I think that time, and both things, agility and the entrepreneurial spirit, everything else is of course there. You have to respond to what's happening around you. But if you're not agile, and if you're bureaucratic and slow, chances are you're going to miss opportunities. So it's
absolutely, James. I mean, all this is so fascinating. I'm going to rewatch this episode again just to get it more.
Well, I can tell you, as I said, I'm more objective now because I'm seeing our industry from the outside, having gone out of it. I see it more objectively now.
Yeah. So the last question for our viewers: what exactly you do now? Tell us about your current role.
Okay, I do a bunch of things. So it's been 2 years now that I'm no longer in the world that I was in. As you know, I was heading up Asia Pac for Wunderman Thompson right at the end. So I'm doing a bunch of things. I actually spent the first 6 months, as everyone told me, the transition is going to be difficult. After 40 years of working, it was not easy, but I met lots of people and took advice from them. And two very interesting things that everyone said was do something different. Don't do the same thing again now that you have an opportunity. And the other thing they mentioned was work with people that you want to work with.
Right.
I mean, nobody is now putting a gun to your head and saying, okay, you have to work with so-and-so. Only work with people that you respect and you like. So I'm doing many things, including being the co-chairman of Start Design Group, which is actually based in UK, owned by an ex-colleague and friend, and that's been good. So I'm helping them get clients and set up their base in India.
Right.
So that takes up some time. I'm also now giving back a little bit to society in a sense. So I'm on the governing board of HelpAge India.
Right.
And also their marketing and communication advisor. Again, it's a really a fabulous governing board and a great organization, a very large professionally run NGO. So with some 1,200 people. So it's great to work with them and doing my little bit wherever I can.
Right.
And I'm also on the board of 2 startups, and where I'm again advising them. One with an ex-colleague who also and as I said, again a friend. So always work with people that you want to work with. So between and I'm advising some people in our advertising business. So between these 4 or 5
I'm sure a lot
things,
of young folks reaching out to you for advices. I think
they are. So that role of mentoring, I'm very happy to do.
Right.
But yeah, so these 4 or 5 things keep me busy and allow me to come to Reading and do a podcast
Thank
with you.
you so much, Tarun. I mean, this has been an absolute pleasure. You spending half the day with me in UK during your travel means a lot. It's almost like a fanboy moment for me. I was very new when I joined WPP, when you joined as CEO. So it was kind of a surreal experience. I know you have been to bigger platforms, and you coming to this studio and doing this for me means a lot. So really appreciate it.
Yeah, and one of the things which is interesting, and I think you mentioned in in your questions was what's the future of our industry?
Right. Yeah.
And it was a very interesting question because I have spent my entire career in advertising and a few years in media.
So what's the future of this industry?
From when I joined in the early 90s to when I left, our business has changed dramatically.
Yeah.
And not just the business, not in the sense of advertising and how advertising has changed with social media and everything coming in. Also, as an organization, and the dynamics of an organization have changed.
Right.
I have seen the power of an advertising agency in the early days, where when somebody said, pitch for my business, we used to send our credentials document in a folder to them.
Right. Okay.
Printed credentials format, and they said, this is it. These are the clients who have trusted their business with us.
Yeah.
If you want anything else, hire us first, and then we will talk. So I've seen the power.
Right.
And now I've seen a kind of a crisis of confidence in our industry. We somehow don't feel that, we have
the hunger.
So I feel that we have somewhere lost the ability to communicate to our clients the value that we bring to the party.
And that brings me to a story. I don't know if you remember this, but I was sitting in JWT office. That was our WBP base at that time. And a phone call came. This was like towards evening. So the receptionist actually sent it to me because I was the only one who was in that floor. And somebody from a hair oil brand, upcoming hair oil brand in India, was trying to reach JWT people because he was fascinated by it, but he was not even able to reach out because that's how powerful the brand was.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, give me your details. I'll pass on to it. And I think I wrote it to you, and you immediately send it to someone to act on it. But that was the era, like when people used to they used to fearful of reaching out to these big brands, like how McKinsey for some extent is done in consulting.
So to my mind, we talked about VML, how HTA, JWT, Wonderman Thompson, now VML, which is 5 agencies put together.
Yeah.
When I joined, we were HTA and we were already merged.
Right.
We did everything for the client, including buying media.
Yeah.
Later on, media was pulled out, then everything else was pulled out. So kind of we demerged all the skills, and now we are trying to merge them back in a different way. But I think to me, and again, as I said, who am I? There are very senior people all over the world who are addressing this issue. But I again come back to value. What is it that we do for our clients?
Right.
Do we produce advertising? Do we produce content? Do we buy media? Or what we really do is build brands and build businesses for our clients.
Yeah.
Come up with ideas that the clients milk for the next 50 years.
Right.
What is the value? And I actually think you mentioned McKinsey and the consultants. I believe when I joined the business and for 10 years after that, we had a seat at the CEO's table.
Right. Yeah.
And I think over the years, we kind of slipped down. And to me, that's unfortunate. And I think the time is for us to now think things differently, to have a split of the advisory role where you're building brands and the execution role where you're producing stuff.
Correct.
I think that...
Do you think that's the future? Like we'll have some marketing...
As I say, who knows? But I think, we kind of... I believe one of the reasons, and I'm saying, somebody might say, oh, he's talking through his hat. But in my experience, my sense is that somewhere we kind of lost it and became more onto the execution side.
Right.
And execution is, how it is, it's commodity.
Correct, yeah.
So, and we lost the the premium offering of consultancy, of strategic planning, of understanding the consumer. We even sold off our research business.
Correct.
When growing up, we only talked about consumers, consumer insights, and the fact that the agencies had such rich consumer insight and experience was because we were cross category.
Absolutely.
We were dealing with Pizza Hut and Reebok and Indian Army and Godrej Industries and Kingfisher. I mean, we had the breadth of knowledge. Therefore, our understanding of the consumer was much better than a Unilever person who was only in FMCG. Right. So that was the premiumness and the advantage that we could bring to the party.
Right.
But this is my sense. Slowly, that seat at the table was taken away by some of the consultants you mentioned.
True.
And they are now buying up agencies and
Correct.
offering.
They're now starting it again.
And we lost it. So, even as a young account executive, and you asked one other question, what were things that you've been proud of. As a young account executive, I had access to the chairman of Hero Group and Hero Cycle.
True.
Young account executive. Because
which is unimaginable now, right?
But I'm saying for a Hero Cycles or even for a multinational, the advertising is the public face of the company.
True.
It's a public face of the company that the CEO heads. Why would that not be important enough for the CEO to be interested in? So I'm saying it is, and one of the things that I said that I'm proud of is building the Hero brand. And we did that in close collaboration with the client.
Right.
That's what
and that was so iconic. I still remember all the craze behind Hero brand.
Absolutely.
Those Amir Khan ads to so on. So those are so iconic.
My first ad was the Amir Khan ad.
This is so iconic. I remember suddenly we will see a lot of Hero book that model getting into colleges because Amir Khan is advertising it, and there was real impact on the ground, right? So these are some of the iconic brands.
And that's what I'm saying. Value is critical, and I think we have somehow, and as I said, entrepreneurial versus bureaucratic. I think somewhere down the line, being bureaucratic also means focusing too much on cost.
Right.
Because that's one thing that you can control. I mean, you are in procurement, there is a role for it and a very important role for it. But, at the end of the day, we focus too much in that area. Sooner or later, it catches up with you. Especially in a business where 75% of your cost is talent.
Correct. And probably 25% is going to nurture that talent. So these are facilities and so on. So better tools, better equipments.
I will just give you an example on talent. When I left Asian Paints and joined HTA, I was told by the head of Delhi office that, you come from Asian Paints, we'll not be able to better your salary. And again, when we discussed, how is money important or not, they said we won't be able to give you an increase, but we will try our level best to match the salary that you are getting. Because, Asian Paints pays you well, but we will match it. So after 3 years, as an account executive, HTA was able to match my salary.
Right.
Go forward a couple of decades, and at an alumni lunch after a golf game with Asian Paints, we are chatting and we are discussing salaries because an HR person is there, and he says, it's become so competitive that in many institutes we don't even get to be there on the first day.
Right.
And the salary benchmarks are so high. And I asked him, I said, so I'm curious because now I'm heading up JWT, so I know what our entry-level salaries are. What are Asian Paint salaries? And I was shocked that Asian Paint starting salaries were 7 times our starting salary.
Wow.
From a time where HTA was able to match my salary,
right.
Today the delta is 7 times. So where if you are this is what you're paying talent. I mean, how are you? And this is a talent business, and this happens because the revenue is not growing. And to my mind, the revenue is not growing because we have not been able to communicate the value that we bring to the party. Otherwise, the client will say, man, hang on, you're going to give me something that I'm going to milk for the next 50 years. Man, here's some more money. So I'm just saying and I think the fault is entirely ours. I mean, we can keep blaming clients or whatever, that's irrespective. But in a business of communication, if we can't communicate our value, and I think part of it, again, I'm saying, somebody may have a contrary point of view, but I think we got stuck in the delivery and the execution area and forgot the top end where you can charge premiums.
Right.
We kind of lost it. So I think if we stretch it differently, then I think we'll have a...
Probably that's the future. I fully agree with you.
So it's
thank you so much, Tarun. Really
thank you very much, and great meeting you. And I think it's a fantastic initiative. And as I said, a great name for the podcast.
Thank you.
Behind the Glass Door.
Thank you.